Hey everyone, and welcome back to Yosemite Valley. I hope you guys missed it. I certainly did miss Yosemite Valley. And after we've done last time the red panda, in case you haven't seen that, as always, the link is to the top right in the info buttons, or you have to check the playlist, then you'll be back. We are now going for the big cat house. And this is one of those things that have been requested forever in this series. I remember that a lot of people commented, if there's anything to change about this entire zoo, it would be the big cat house. And you know, the more I looked at it, the more I compare that to other buildings. Yes, you guys are absolutely and totally right. This was still something I'm really not happy with, mostly because of the roof design and mostly because of actually the overall story and build of this thing. I mean, the idea of this big cat house was from the very beginning to kind of unify this area with the big cats. So we had the big, very natural, very just kind of hidden lion habitat, which is very much giving them a lot of space and utilizing the available space, which is mostly the space of you know, Yosemite-ish kind of nature reserve space. It's nothing made up African or something. It's really just like a very big area of the national park here. We just dedicated to the lions. And then, you know, this building over here has been evolved around. It has been made so it is kind of fitting the requirements of the big cat house, so you can be in the interior of this house and have a look at them, but you can also always have like an exterior view. Now, talking about the exterior view, I haven't had really that many things to the outside that were actually raised up. And so I figured, okay, you know what, the first bigger change we do is to utilize these towers a little bit more. So this building has 4 towers to each side. And I've actually, you know, done this on stream and also asked previously in the comments, and you guys also agreed that the building itself was not the problem. Like also the towers on the sides and so on was really not the problem. People like that. I also certainly like the design. It borrows a little bit from the entrance building, and it borrows obviously also from the Yosemite Hotel that exists in real life. I always forget the name of it, but this is basically the most famous hotel. So if you Google Yosemite Valley Hotel, you will find that one hotel, which is potentially the main inspiration for the building style I chose for Yosemite Valley in general. Like this is the one thing that unifies everything. And then I dragged a lot of inspiration from other builds like chapels or little lodges across Yosemite. A lot of stuff I discovered on Google Maps actually, and just carrying through to make that all look good. I continued through, and this is why I still liked it on this building. However, this very weird transition for the staff members on top of the building was certainly something I don't really like. The fact that this building was kind of standing here very flat and not having anything to offer, despite this roundabout, like gigantic roundabout in the middle where people feel kind of lost in. This is something I really disliked. And also, just saying, because I forgot to mention that at the beginning, this is part 1 of 2 of the revamp of the cat house, because obviously it is a lot more work than you would think at the beginning. It's not just changing the roof. I mean, it started with the roof to get an overall feeling of how it all should look, but we will also redo the interior a slight bit. Not talking too much, actually. We are just changing a few little bits here and there, just making sure that everything kind of makes a bit more sense, and just breaking up the kind of incredibly wide hallway. It's just really super wide and not really meant to be very explorative. It's more likely just, you know, as if it's raining, everyone is running here to get cover, but that's legit the only thing that the building offers, and that's something I do want to change, because effectively we want this building to be interesting. And I've got some ideas for our next episode, but today we will be focusing mostly on this roof design. So to give you like a little bit of an agenda here, we are building this roof design today with a little bit of some planters. We put some shops on top to make the terrace actually a destination for the people to go here, because not only because of the viewing platforms, but also giving them some facilities to have as a target. I will make a dedicated staff member entrance over here, which was one of the bigger fights, and then I actually decided to turn that also into a guest entrance eventually, because that makes the overall traversable area for them a bit more interesting, so people can move up and down a bit more easy through the house, and this house becomes a bit more of a really nice place to discover. And then with those 2 towers where you have actually some viewing platforms, I think it gets even more of an interesting space, and I'm quite happy with what we've achieved there. So this is going to be the subject of today's episode, building this entire rooftop area, making this building kind of nice already from the outside. And the next episode will be the kind of interior episode where we are going to fix the interiors of this building here, of the rooftop building. We are going in with a lot more details, like getting some, all these necessary things like venting and electricity and all this stuff will be on here. Also some drainage systems and all these kind of things I need to pay attention to. But then also next episode we will change the interior not only for the guests but also for the animals. I'm really unhappy with the interior of the snow leopard, and I'm also very unhappy with the interior of the cheetah. So those 2 will be tackled as well. They will undergo some major changes to make it a bit more interesting to look at those areas also from the inside. And especially the snow lion will get a complete habitat overhaul, because I'm really not happy with how that looks. So the next episode will definitely be a bit more focused on the animals and the viewing angle that the guest can look at. So you can see here, this is just a little glimpse into what we're doing. I just fixed one of the lion's views so that you actually have a view from the inside, and then I also put down some benches here already, and this is where I figured actually, okay, we need some more stuff, and this will be again the focus of the next episode, making sure that there is a bit more interesting stuff to look at. But yeah, as we've done the main layout of this plaza on top of the building, now it was time to embed that in a more nice way. And I figured these 4 rocks from the aquatic pack, they actually create a nice looking wall if you stick them together like these, like almost like Lego bricks over here, just to form a nice decent wall. It just kind of looks decent. It is a tiny bit repetitive, I will say that, but yeah, I think in this specific term over here, or in this specific case, I'm totally fine with it, because the more you kind of change it a little bit slightly with the colors, and the more you put in some foliage and so on, it becomes a little bit less obvious, and so it's totally fine. I just like this piece a lot because it has a very nice size, it has a very cool texture, it is recolorable, and there are a lot of good things about this piece, so I just decided to go with that one. And of course, it's almost like a perfect brick to use, so it doesn't have so many weird angles, that you can really use that in a nice fashion. And you can see over here, I'm really making a huge step forward by putting these walls in. I have to say, it looks fairly nice at the end. I won't have the real-time part today. We will have a look at it in the next episode, where we will really have a tour guiding you through the revamp, and I'm also going to show you a before and after, which means that I have to load into this file twice. Oh my god, this will be horrible, but okay. So it's definitely going to be like a before and after, and I can tell already that this is a huge and a very much needed overhaul, which kind of rounds off the circle, which is what we have began today's episode with. So yeah, Yosemite is really going into the final stages of the wrapping up things to do. I have to say, and now as we talked a lot about what's happening, I have to say that Yosemite really, for me personally, feels kind of complete now. The only thing that I'm missing out on is, and I got all of your comments lately, a lot of good comments, a lot of good stuff, and loads of these things I will try to also bring in here before we really end it. But I will say that the next bigger thing we might need in here, and this is also kind of giving you an idea for the future. So my plan is to really make sure that in case there is a marine DLC coming, like giving us full aquatic animals, then I will go back to this file and change the aquatic house. Okay, so this is definitely going to happen. However, it is, well, I think the earliest possible time would be end of March, where I guess the next DLC would be happening. So if Frontier sticks to their like almost 3-month schedule, which kind of changed a little bit also during COVID, I guess, but mostly they stick to it. So I think we can definitely say that between March and end of April, there will potentially be a next DLC. Personally, I would love if it is featuring more than 4 animals, but who knows? And definitely, I'm very, very excited for that one, because that will define the future of the DLCs and of Planet Zoo in general, because whatever we will see will define the way how to go on. But that's not the topic right now. The topic is really what happens then to Yosemite. I think until this time Yosemite is finished. Because it's only the cat house and afterwards the parking lot, and then we're done. I will upload this as a full release version. It's gonna be having all the things that I built on. I will make it workable. I will make this the house of the train working, and all these kind of little bits and pieces. I will test this park so that every animal is in their dedicated area, and so on and so forth. I won't wait for, let's say, an aviary DLC, which might come at a certain point, who knows. But, you know, if I would need to bet my money on it, I guess that the earliest potential moment we will get an aviary DLC would be December 2021. So this year, December, I think is the earliest, and there's just no way that this project can carry on through there. And honestly, I also need to free my mind a little bit of this project because it has been ongoing for so long. It's been a very good partner in crime for all of us during all these times, and I can't be more happy about the location and about the story I chose for the first big project. But you know, this also gives me the room now to start a new project. So here's me then also telling you what's going on. So next, I said, you know, the next episodes will be the finalization of the cat house. Then we will do like parking lot and some general fixes, and then it's done. You know, end of February is most likely the release of Yosemite. So how is it going to continue afterwards? Well, it's pretty easy, to be honest, because I am already preparing a series in the background, which is not really dropping too soon, to be honest, because that's going to be a fully pre-recorded series. I wanted to just test this out once, and then giving me, because I think this will give me the room to do something next to it, you know, that I have this series that is just fully running, and then I don't have to bother about this anymore, and I can actually focus on making some more one-off builds, which I will do more in the future. So this is going to happen. Then I have planned a bit more of an architectural series where I'm not really doing a habitat. It's going to be more like a little art project, which is going to happen rather soon. I'm working on something there. I'm not sure when it really will happen. There is also Prehistoric Kingdom on the horizon. The alpha stage is expected in Q1/Q2, so also around kind of February, March, April this year. So very exciting time. So this is going to happen as well, and hence I want to, you know, get myself some free air for that. And regarding Planet Zoo, the franchise mode will be continued, and we will also have a big new project that is going to be launched, I think, somewhat towards the middle of the year. The only reason for that is that there is so much going on right now, and I've got so many projects that I don't want to spoil this with anything else, and I'm still working on kind of a concept that would tie in very well with what we've done in Yosemite, to make sure that it has the same level of detail, the same level of ingenuity, and also keeps inspiring you guys, because as I figure this is the one thing that you love the most about this series, is that it inspires you guys and, you know, reminds you of something in these you know, American areas, and I guess this is something I really enjoy to see, and hence I want to give you the option in the new project as well. Anyways, let's quickly jump back to the build. You can see I have done a lot of work with some bins over here. I just wanted to make sure that on this rooftop we have a little bit of a more guided area for our guests, so that they have to go to the shops and then have to take a route back to the seating areas and not can just cramp together everywhere, because that will most likely be happening when you don't focus on it, and there will just be a huge crowd to get the food and so on, and I wanted to test how this is. On that note, Frontier, can you finally give us some curbs and barriers, because that was a pain to put down all these bins and benches. Can we just have some curbs and make it a bit more simple? That would be amazing. Very much thank you from the camel, okay? So yeah, this is something I really would love to see in the future. It really starts to annoy me to build all these things with the kind of you know, bins. I mean, if we would only have the barrel planter, you know, in Planet Coaster there was at least the barrel planter, which was kind of a little bug in the game. There was one, for those of you who don't know, there was the pirate barrel planter. That was one item in the game, which was, for whatever reason, acting like a curb. So if you put this down, people would not go and crash into this. I think they forgot to take out the barrier in it or whatever, or like there was a certain hitbox. I don't know, we all know nothing about it, but the only thing we knew was that this barrel planter acts like a barrier, and so you could even slightly push that into the ground, and since the hitbox, invisible hitbox, was a tiny bit bigger, it still acted like a little barrier. It was almost like the elephant grass. It kind of is I think the predecessor to the elephant grass, only that it wasn't working for the animals but for the guest, and that was really amazing. However, in no time you obviously had you had some parks that were like 100% pirate themed, because the barrels were all over the place in the ground. So everything was like pirate. That was funny, but yeah. So just as a little bit of trivia of where we came from. But yeah, you can see here I'm really paying a lot of attention making that all kind of finished, and I have to say this is such a huge improvement to what we had before, that I also figured, okay, I need to bring also color-wise this rooftop over here into the overall build, and I decided to make also a bit of a, you know, kind of a bit of a more natural looking rooftop. Also this would help then with like heat management and all this kind of stuff is way easier to have, and then we put just a lot of bracken and greenery on top just to make it seem a little more overgrown. Of course you wouldn't have any trees growing on there because that's just like a little bit of a flat surface of soil, just not enough for it. But yeah, so this is kind of where we are right now. I hope this was nice, giving you a little bit of a idea what's happening next. So I would like to know from you guys how you're doing at the moment. Let me know in the comments down below how you enjoy Yosemite. Are you sad actually that this project is going to end? And if you could decide what would be a next bigger project I should go for, what kind of theme, what kind of zoo, which kind of biome, you know, is there anything you would love to do in the future but you just can't, and I could maybe take as an idea? Who knows? Let me know in the comments down below what you think would be a cool topic for my Let's Play, or let's build, I should say, the speed build series. And yeah, that would be very amazing that would be. While we are just building one last thing, I figured we never had a door actually for the lions, so I made them a little gate which would also fit this roundy little entrance. Anyhow, that's been it for today. Stay safe everyone, have a good weekend, and goodbye.